welcome back, everybody, to Profiles in Innovation, where we talk to Brandesians who are making a really big impact in the world through innovation. And I'm here today with Eric Moyal of Project Insulin. Eric, it is wonderful to have you here.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you and be back, so to speak.
It's great to see you back here. Oh, and by the way, I'm Christine Incht, Digital Infrastructure Manager for the Brandeis Innovation Center, and Heller MBA, Marketing Instructor. We're really, really psyched to be here with you, especially Eric, because you've been making the news recently. And I really want to know a little bit more about yourself and your role at Brandeis. So tell us everything you'd like our viewers and listeners to know about you and what you do and your role here at Brandeis.
Yeah, it's an expansive background at Brandeis. So I was a undergrad. I got a bachelor's in 2017. I did a master's at the International Business School in 2018. Then I worked in the fundraising office from 2019 through 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And while there, I got a second master's at the Graduate Professional Studies School, the online master's degree in strategic analytics. So I have 3 degrees from Brandeis, and I was there for almost 10 years. So truly lots of roots at Brandeis. And yeah, it shaped the person I am today, and kind of led me into this path of starting my own nonprofit, and it's called Project Insulin. We're making our own generic insulin, and we're going to sell it directly to patients at cost. So we're taking out all the middle organizations and taking out the focus on making money that comes with pharmaceuticals, and kind of creating our own system, so to speak, where we're going to be completely vertically integrated. We'll own the drug and we'll distribute it. And as a result, we'll be able to price it at one low rate for everybody, regardless of insurance status. So, for us, it would be below $20, regardless of if you have insurance.
That's incredible. How did you get the idea for Project Insulin?
Yeah, it's the long story starts with, in college, I wanted to be a sports management. I wanted to get into sports management. I was on my way to, do sports marketing specifically. I worked for the Patriots. I worked for the Boston Cannons, the Major League Lacrosse team. I was the manager of the men's basketball team at Brandeis, and I had a few other internships in sports along the way. And but once I graduated or actually in my senior year, I started working in the fundraising office. In advancement is what it's called. And I learned about fundraising and how important it is, and kind of how you can move things forward through fundraising. When I went to Brandeis, the only reason I was able to go was because I got a scholarship. So, raising money was really meaningful to me because I was able to pass that down to other students as they were getting ready to go to Brandeis. But yeah, then, a few years later, I had learned a little bit more about healthcare, and the fact that insulin, costs $300 a vial, and the average person needs between 2 to 3 vials a month. So people are paying $1,000 a month for insulin. And I then learned that it's been off patent for a few years, and the drug itself was created over 100 years ago. And the founders, the creators of the drug, said that insulin doesn't belong to us, it belongs to the world. So they sold the patent for insulin for $1 at the time, so about $20 today. So how did we get from a world where the founders of insulin, the discoverers of insulin, saw the long-term impact that this drug would have on people, to a place where people can't afford their monthly supply? And after doing a little bit more research, I saw that it's not a science problem. We're off patent. We all know how to make insulin. Not me, but researchers and development organizations. So it's not like it requires some scientific breakthrough, but rather, if we could raise enough money, we would be able to make an affordable insulin and sell it to patients. And so, given the fact that I had been working in fundraising for, 5, 6 years, stumbled into it, but it became my career, I realized that because it's a fundraising problem, I'm uniquely qualified to tackle it. And so that's how it all started.
Really one innovator paying tribute through history to the original innovators who developed insulin. I think
Yeah.
that's a great story. Um, and thanks for sharing your journey. It
Yeah.
just, knowing how complex the situation is here in the United States. I mean, we hear about people dying because of a lack of ability to afford their insulin, and it really is a significant problem. And like you said, it's not a science problem. A lot of times at Brandeis Innovation, we fund projects that tackle science problems. The science is just not there. And other times we tackle non-science problems, issues of social justice, of distribution, of just making things work in new logistical ways. So it's really interesting to be able to see both of those problems being solved through different projects, and identifying what the real problem is often crucial. And you really did that. You identified that this is not a science problem, this is a business problem and an equity problem of logistics and how do we get this out there. So you've been making a lot of progress lately, and you were also involved in the Brandeis Innovation Program. Can you tell us a little bit more about the programs you participated in here at Brandeis Innovation and how they ended up impacting you and the trajectory of Project Insulin as it has grown?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I came up with the idea in late 2020, or that was when it started percolating. We didn't quite, start until 2021, and we didn't get incorporated till October of 21. And then I learned about the Brandeis Spark program, the brand and Spark Tank. Um, and I started going to some of the meetings, and then they were like, "Hey, there's a pitch contest in February." So the October before I pitched was kind of when we incorporated. So it was like perfect timing from our perspective. But I went to Spark Tank, I pitched. We won $2,500 at the pitch contest. It was very exciting. I remember I think Stuart was his name, the guy who helped us create our pitches. He had such an impact on me because that kind of shaped the way my pitches went for the next year and a half, 2 years. So it was a very important piece for me. And then winning the $2,500 and kind of, the money was great, but what it signaled was that this has legs, right? This was an actual business that had a real opportunity to grow. So then going through the Spark Tank program, over 3 months, we had lessons every week and tackle different problems within starting a business. It really sharpened my ability as a founder, a first-time founder, didn't know what I was necessarily doing. I know how fundraising works, but starting a business is completely different than fundraising at a large institution like Brandeis. So being able to kind of get those early experiences and be in a cohort of other people who are going through the same struggles while, managing, working a full-time job and doing a master's degree on the side, it was really, really impactful to the early ability to, I guess, stabilize as an organization.
Awesome. And Stuart Papp of Influence DNA has,
That's
done
right.
some really wonderful coaching for us over the years in helping people hone their messaging. And that's really one of the critical things. Like you said, being part of a cohort, knowing you're not alone, and gaining those skills that will help you get your ideas out there and connect with people, understand how to create a business model. All of that I think is so valuable. More so, yeah, learning the tactical skills of how do I, understand what a term sheet is. That's great, but it's that connection with other entrepreneurs, knowing that other people have been down this path, and here are the tools that can help you get further down that path. I think that's that emotional connection that's part of what's valuable. Like you said, it's not so much the $2,500, although that's helpful, but knowing that people believe in you and knowing that you've got connections now to other people who had to believe in themselves and make it work. And now you're making so much progress, right? Every day I turn on, my computer and there you are doing something else really exciting. You had a billboard over
Mhm.
one of the major highways going through Massachusetts. You were selected to pitch at what was that, Venture Cafe or
Yeah, Venture Cafe in Providence. Yeah.
awesome. Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
more about that.
Yeah, it's been a very busy few months. So we had spent most of 2022 kind of building the operations of it, understanding like, how to manage volunteers, learning the scientific process, what the like drug discovery, what's it going to cost, who do we need to partner with, what are some of the pitfalls. Some organizations don't do different drug development pieces, and others do those. And so we accumulated so much information in 22 and to start 23 that now the second half of 2023, we're really like hitting our stride as an organization. We have a very clear volunteer network. And I've had thankfully, a very good second half of 2023. We got into the Social Enterprise Greenhouse Accelerator Program, which is based out of Providence, Rhode Island. It's a impact accelerator. It's essentially, if the Heller School was going to have an accelerator program, it'd be this one because it's all about organizations creating impact. So very excited to get into that program, especially after not getting in for the winter session of 2023. So it was cool to see the growth of the organization and of myself between the February application and the August application. It was just so clear that while I was sad in February that I didn't get in, it was so clear that I needed that extra time to sharpen and get further along to get into that program. So that was wonderful. And as you mentioned, we got to pitch at Venture Cafe for their bio life sciences night a couple of weeks ago. And it's Diabetes Awareness Month throughout November. So I know that this will come out later in December, but at the time of filming, it was still Diabetes Awareness Month. And I had asked the billboard company if they'd be willing to donate a billboard for us for 2 weeks. And they said, absolutely. I gave them how long I wanted it for. I told them why it was important to do it now, and was very like upfront and clear about what I was looking for. And those are skills I've learned over the last few years, right? Like, when you try to create these different partnerships, it has to be valuable for both sides. So creating it's not a crisis, right? But like a reason why like this time is so important. That was probably a pretty big part of why we were able to get that billboard. It's been a very good few months. We're doing an end of year campaign now. Of course, Giving Tuesday is right around the corner, and then end of year with taxes and whatnot. So we're doing a lot of fundraising related content at this point. We're looking to raise $400,000 to begin drug development. So that'll cover 1 year of drug development to create our own generic insulin, and we're excited about it. We're starting to really speak to different high-level donors to see if they can help at a larger capacity. And then, of course, everybody else, everyone who's given the $10 to $100 to $1,000, you're helping us keep the lights on, right? You're helping us with grant writers and marketing and, the stamps we need to send out thank you cards or send out grant applications or our tax forms. That's what that money goes to. So it's an exciting time, and I'm very happy to be a founder and be learning all this as I go.
And you're showing so much like great marketing savvy, by the way, to look for that teachable moment or that opportunity to get in front of the news, because this is in the news. It is at the time of recording, November 21st, Diabetes Awareness Month, and knowing when to capitalize on those opportunities. That's the essence of entrepreneurship right now. I would say the essence of business savvy. So kudos to you for that. And it's, again, one of the great benefits that we see of taking part in an entrepreneurship program is getting set on that path where you keep developing those skills But it's always incredible to see our founders, once they go out in the world, developing even further skills of like
Mhm.
knowing when to contact the media, knowing when to get publicity, or when to take advantage of a donation opportunity, and understanding the ins and outs of their own particular industry. And that's the kind of learning you just can't get in the classroom.
Yeah, and it's really hard, right? Because as you said, you can't learn that in the classroom. You know, the accelerator programs help, right? They give you the tools you need so that when that opportunity arises, you can make the right decision. You can create, you know, you can think on your feet and have the right pitch for the person you're talking to. But yeah, it just kind of takes time. And you know, there's people tell me all the time that it's you know, first time founders have the hardest time, but second and third time founders, that's kind of when you kind of start wheeling and dealing because you know what you're doing, right? You've done this before, you've seen the pitfalls, you know how it works. So definitely a lot of learning moments along the way, but I'm happy to still be pushing forward.
You know, and it's that persistence, honestly, that is the number one skill of being an entrepreneur. All of the others, like understanding your industry, understanding marketing and PR, all of those don't mean anything if you're not persistent. It is persistence. And you're just an exemplar of that, Eric. So what's next for you and for
Yeah,
Project
so
Insulin?
as I mentioned, it's we're raising that 400,000. That is the next big goal. It's a lot of money, but it would really launch us into that next level of entrepreneurship, right? Up till now, I'm the guy talking about making a generic insulin, and I'm the guy discussing a plan and you know educating and sharing and showing why this is viable. But our goal is to really start doing it. We want to be the organization that's actually making insulin. So we're raising that 400,000 to do 1 year of drug development. As I mentioned earlier, we also have gotten all these proposals in. So we have the timeline, we have the costs, we have the breakdowns. And so we're just trying to raise that money and really, you know, kind of put our flag, you know, like put our flag down and say, we're here, we're entering the pharmaceutical space and we're doing it this way. And yes, it might seem different and it might be weird to you now, but the impact that we could have is going to be, you know, so special. And we can't wait for that.
That is incredible. And just, you know, hearing your awesome progress is inspirational to see how much progress post Spark
Hmm.
you've been making. If people want to get involved or know more about Project Insulin, you mentioned that you're a nonprofit. You mentioned that, you know, you're heading towards clinical trials and that this is a critical time for people to support you. If they're just curious about what you're doing, or they do want to support, or they want to spread the word, or um, just connect with you as an innovator, how would they do that?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, projectinsulin.org. And you can learn a little bit more about who we are and what we're doing, learn a bit more about the team, some of our volunteers. You can find us on social media. It'll either be Project Insulin or Project_Insulin on
Mhm.
all social media platforms, which is also linked on our website. And if you'd like to talk to me directly, my email is emoyal, EMOYAL, at projectinsulin.org. I'd love to chat with anybody who's interested. You know, we've grown a nice volunteer network. So if you're interested in volunteering, we would love that. If you're just interested in sharing our posts, we would love that. And if you're interested in making a tax-deductible donation before the end of the fiscal year, we would love that as well. Any donation above $35, I make custom coasters. Here's an example of one of the prototypes. And we ship them to you as like our premium appeal. So any donation above 35 and you get two custom made coasters by me, and they're varnished by hand. So it's a cool side piece for me. It's like the creative outlet, so to speak.
And every entrepreneur needs that, because
Hmm.
entrepreneurship, especially when you're trying to make such a significant impact, like getting insulin into patients' hands when there's so many barriers and challenges out there, you need that creative outlet. And that's a nice premium, very thoughtful,
Yeah,
and reminds me of how we have a whole maker lab here at Brandeis where
yeah.
you can do stuff like that, learn stuff like
Hmm.
that. And even if you don't end up becoming an entrepreneur in 3D, using 3D printing or laser cutters, you still build those skills. And I feel like that's the case with everything in entrepreneurship. It's always worth learning,
Hmm.
because if you become an entrepreneur, you never know what skill could be handy. You could find yourself making coasters for your donors, and that can be a great creative outlet, but also a great way to do marketing and build your
Yeah,
coalition.
absolutely. I think I did a class at the business school with Ian Roy, the head of the Maker Lab. The class was we build our own 3D printer in class, and then we try to like create things to sell online. It's like a fun, no stress kind of dip your toe into entrepreneurship. But it's really cool from like a creating standpoint, right? We had to make our own printers, and then to see it actually work and print something off of it was a really cool experience. And yeah, like you said, it's not something I was expecting, but here I am a few years later learning, having used CAD design and all those other tools. I can now confidently make my own coasters. I'm my way of thinking is flexible enough and malleable enough, right? That I can pick up these little side projects and be happy about it because, learning is fun.
Learning is fun. I think that's the motto of entrepreneurship, and that's the model of a true Brandesian as well. And you're a three-time Brandesian. You're a triple threat Brandesian. Kudos to you on that as well. Any final thoughts for Brandesian innovators of the future and what they should think about? Let's say you have an idea, you're in your office or your dorm, and you're thinking, this is a wild idea. I really believe in it, but I don't know what I should do. Eric, what should they do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, uh, thinking about it is good, but talking about it with other people makes it real. And I think that's one of the harder first steps is like, feeling insecure about whether you actually have a good idea, how people are going to react to it. For me, one of the most important people in this whole project was one of my friends from Brandeis, who's a lawyer. He was the first person I told about it, and his reaction was, I don't know much about insulin, but I just truly believe in you and the passion that you have for this. So I'm all in, whatever you need. And that was really the difference between me like starting it in that moment versus maybe doing it 6 months later. So as someone at Brandeis looking to start an entrepreneurship, what better place to go to than the innovation lab to go see you, to go see the other people on the team, share that you have this idea and kind of brainstorm it a little bit more, understand. And I'm sure you will tell this to them, you'll teach this to them, is like, well, who do you think you're actually targeting? Or like, what is it you're actually trying to solve? There's so much talk about product market fit. But like before you even get there, let's talk about like, what are you trying to like, what is your goal, right? Is your goal to change the way people buy their clothing? Is it the way, are you trying to create a new subscription model because you found a pain point in your life, whatever it might be. So understanding the why you're doing the thing is so important, and then you'll figure out the how later. And that's I think where you kind of you come in with your why and you pass it over to Brandeis Innovation, and they'll help you take care of the rest.
And that why is the most important thing. I mean,
Mhm.
your why is one of the most critical in the world, really saving lives. And whether you're saving lives or saving the planet or just helping people do something that's fun and engaging and brightens their day,
Mhm.
entrepreneurship is for everyone.
Yeah,
And I can't say enough about the impact that it can have on people's lives. And I hope that you continue to make a huge impact on people's lives through Project Insulin. Again, projectinsulin.org. If people want to support you, if they want to find out more, you can see all of the socials there as well. If you'd like to follow Project Insulin and or connect with Eric Moyal. Eric, thank you again so much. It's been wonderful talking to you.
absolutely. Thank you.